領域展開
Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Iconic at the Iconic Universe. Well, welcome back to a YouTube video because I literally have not made a YouTube video in the longest. It's been about a couple of weeks, but we are here finally reacting to the LIDIA starter guide and early look from IGN. This video is from IGN. It is not my footage. I just want to do that for YouTube's sake. They will flag stuff. Matter of fact, I'm just going to enlarge in this and I'm probably just going to play it from right here. But yeah, man, it's just some things that I wanted to talk about in terms of LIDIA and in terms of her kit and what she is going to have. I've been on Twitter a lot, man, and people are just outraged about what she has in terms of her lows and in terms of her like just full move list. They think that she's going to be the most unstoppable character to come out in Tekken so far. I think it's debatable. I think that she is going to be good, but I do think that she does have some glaring weaknesses that people may not be paying attention to. Now I myself am not a Tekken pro, but I'm also not like a Tekken rookie or like amateur. Like I pretty much know what I'm talking about for the most part in terms of this specific character. If you do like the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more. Let's get it. I like the fit.
Fighting Prime Minister of Poland, LIDIA Sobieska makes her return to the King of Iron Fist tournament in Tekken 8 as the second DLC character.
Okay, wait. Okay. So look, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. A lot of you guys have probably already seen this, but I do want to like do a little bit of pausing.
Return to the King of
So
Iron Fist tournament in Tekken 8 as the second DLC
she does
character.
have her.
She's a complex character, even by Tekken
forward 2.
But fortunately, Bandai Namco's esports manager Alex Julio gave me an hour-long demonstration of her best moves, what's special about her kit,
and she has new stances, but she still has her cat stance.
Guide on LIDIA Sobieska in Tekken 8.
Okay, so the first stance, when she does her wild running 2. Is it wild running 2 or just forward 2? It might just be forward 2. I think the wild running is the move you do while you're running, obviously, right? Anyway, so the forward 2 move, from what I just saw, puts her in what I've heard is horse stance. So it's not the same stance that she had in Tekken 7. It's a totally different stance, different options. And of course, when she goes into stance, it's 4 different options. I have also heard that whenever she does forward 2, she automatically goes into stance, which I think is going to be to her detriment. I think it's going to be one of the bad things about her character. But let's see. Let's just figure it out. Tekken 8 LIDIA starter guide. Yo, the trailer was crazy.
Tekken 7 iteration, LIDIA is a character that utilizes a lot of stances.
That hop kick is strong.
She has a total of 4 of them.
Wait.
Our cat stance, horse stance.
Wait.
LIDIA is a character.
Okay, so her hop kick is the tornado move, obviously, right?
Iteration, LIDIA is a character that utilizes a lot stances.
Yeah.
In Tekken 8, she has a total of 4 of them.
Okay.
Cat stance, horse stance, striking wolf stance, and heaven and earth. Each stance has a number of follow-ups from lows.
Did she have the same amount of stances in 7? I know she had cat stance 1 and 2. I think that striking wolf stance is not new. And she had heaven and earth. So maybe she did have 4 stances in 7.
To quick highs that beat jab mashes, to punishing mids that can lead to hugely damaging combos.
Okay, question. Did she go right into stance? Okay, so when she does forward 2, I'm noticing every time that I've seen it, she goes right into horse stance. But then for a split second, they just did the horse stance input.
Number of follow-ups from lows to quick highs that beat jab mashes to punishing
Right there.
mids that can lead to hugely damaging combos.
Okay.
She's a character that can leave her opponents scared to press buttons, and when they're conditioned into that state,
whoa, that low was quick.
And when they're
That low was very
She's
quick.
a character that can leave her opponents scared to press buttons, and when they're conditioned into that state, then she can use moves that are plus on block to keep her pressure going. She's also got very strong punishes, a fully tracking low that will go over in just
Okay. I did see this clip where people said that they were mad because this was like an unseeable low.
is a fully
Damn. Okay, so she does have her hell sweep.
plus on block to keep her pressure going. She's also got very strong punishes, a fully tracking low that will go over in just.
So I'm trying to see if that really is unseeable. Where's playback speed? Here it is.
Is a fully tracking low that will go over in just.
I see why people would say it's unseeable, but I don't really think it's that.
Just a bit, and very strong approach tools in both her forward forward 2 and forward forward 1. She's also a character that benefits.
Here's the problem. I think that she's gonna be able to get jabbed out of her stances. Because if it's anything like Steve and his stances before they change them to where you can cancel them on command, if she can't cancel her stances, she's going to get jabbed out quite a lot.
It's greatly for her heat gauge.
But
we'll go over right now
I did see them try to jab her out the stance, and she used her armor move to beat that jab.
A returning move from Tekken 7,
forward 2.
Mid punch that leaves Lydia at +5 on block.
It's a very good move.
Her into horse stance, regardless if the attack hits or is blocked.
Okay.
On hit, the opponent is in a real bad spot. It's +15 and leaves her
Damn!
where she can do pretty much any follow-up in horse stance, and it will beat mashing.
+15 on hit? Okay. +15 on hit. I'm not the biggest analytical person when it comes to the frame advantages and like the startups, but +15 on hit has got to mean that she damn near gets a guaranteed follow-up. Now I don't know if he said that. I was listening but not listening. But she has to have gotten a guaranteed follow-up.
It's +15 and leaves her in a position where she can do pretty much any follow-up in horse stance, and it will beat mashing.
It beats mashing. So even if someone's trying to mash out of it, it don't matter.
Let's guess on blocking a mid heat engager that's only -10 on block, a low counter hit launcher, or take a gamble and mash to try beat an axe kick that leaves Lydia at +8 on block and transitions into a whole new stance. Beat an axe kick that leaves Lydia
okay, so
launcher, or take a gamble and mash
this part right here
to try beat an
jabbed out of it. So I'm not saying that it's not gonna be tough to deal with, but she can be jabbed out of it. If she goes for the axe kick, jab, and she's -8.
Axe kick that leaves Lydia at +8 on block and
but she's
transitions
+8 if she hit it and you block
with
it.
another set of mix-ups.
So if you get her, she's -8 if she
heat, she's at +17 and can get a
damn
that ends with her going
that's
into
tough.
Heaven and Earth stance, where
That's
she
tough.
gets threatened with several strong attacks,
That's
including
tough.
fast and blockable, and gets a charge that powers up some of her moves for the rest of the match. The little brother to forward forward 2, forward forward 1 is a running high punch approach option that.
Now I heard K-Wiz say that this was a wild running move at first,
the drawback,
but now
is that it's a high and can be ducked.
It is
but
a high.
Since ducking against Lydia is so scary, see everything I said before about forward forward 2. This is a very useful option
because forward forward 2 is a mid, forward forward 1 is a high.
Forward 1+2, 3, 1+2 string called Political Storm is back with a new twist.
Political Storm is a heat engager,
if you do a quarter circle forward,
and it has a blue spark.
Hit that adds on a bit of extra damage. Aside from that, it's Lydia's 14 frame Punisher, a heat engager.
Lydia's weakness is going to be sidestepping. Sidestepping and sidewalking. Because if she's anything like she was in 7, you're going to be able to sidestep her quite a bit.
Back 1 is a safe mid heat engager with 18 frame startup.
Back 1, I wonder.
Will wall stun if close to the wall.
I wonder,
and
can
knock down if it
you?
hits while you're already in heat. Not much else to say about it.
You sidestep to the right.
That seems pretty good.
Or you sidewalk to the right.
15 frame
on either side.
That goes into cat stance and is plus 11 on hit, which means that if it hits, once again, the opponent is in a bad spot where they'll have to guess, as pretty much all of her follow-ups will beat any sort of
But if they block it, then what?
All of her follow-ups will beat any sort of. If it hits, once again, the opponent is in a bad spot.
So if they block it, it's 0 frame advantage.
The opponent is in a bad spot.
Is 0 frame advantage.
Where they'll have to guess, as pretty much all
But
of her follow-ups
it's
will beat any sort of
still
matchup.
it's still a guessing
Since
game.
She's got a safe mid that leads to a combo on counter hit,
Interesting.
a low, and a high follow-up.
It's still a guessing game where
blocked, the opponent can mash out of it.
Okay.
Next up is down back 4, which is a fairly average low poke. It's a bit slow at 22 frames of startup.
Yeah, it's slow.
But
Like,
it does
that's gonna be a
track
real
sidestep left
easy.
And is 0 on hit. What's nice about it is that you're standing.
That's gonna be a real
so
easy
you don't
move to
limit yourself
catch.
to wall rising moves after landing it. Down 2 is another low that is faster at 18
I saw that
frames,
sidestep.
but it is -4 on hit. So if your opponent knows
And
that,
down
they
2
can
is
take
way
the back
faster.
If it hits. It does go under highs though, and if it counter hits, you get a free from crouching down forward 2 heat engager.
But if somebody blocks it, you're
From
negative
crouching down forward 3
4.
is another low, though this
It's not
one
too
can
bad,
knock
but
down
that's
from close range
enough.
And has a guaranteed follow-up with forward 3. The downside is that this one is launch punishable. if
Forward
blocked,
3.
so just be
Interesting.
careful.
Oh, her
Quarter
high
circle
kick is
forward
back.
4 is a 17 frame tracking high that leaves Lydia at plus
But it's a
1.
high, so if you
But
miss it,
hits, she's
launch.
at plus 10, which means that she gets a guaranteed 1-2-2
Oh,
jab
wow.
shot, which does respectable damage and leaves her at plus 8 in cat stance for
Okay.
a mix-up opportunity. Speaking of 1-2-2, it's worth noting that this build shows that it's -8 on block. That's not really true, since it forces Lydia into cat stance regardless of whether it's blocked or hits. And Lydia can't block in that stance,
is
which means that
very
it's actually launch
risky.
punishable. So don't just go throwing this out, or you might pay for it. Now let's talk about
1-2-2.
down back 3.
You will be
This
giving
move is
people
sick.
whatever.
It's a 16 frame, fully tracking low sweep, which means that it cannot be
Plus
sidestepped
7.
either left or right, and if it hits, it
Okay.
leaves you at plus 7 in horse stance. So it's a position very much like if you had just landed forward 2.
Jabbed right out of the stance. Jabbed right out of the stance, though.
You still have the advantage. As you would imagine, it's launch punishable, so it's a big risk throwing it out, but it's nonetheless a very important
But if you
tool
do it
for
with the
Hearthstone.
armor move,
Pressing
then
1
you can
while
get
in
it.
horse stance will get you a high homing power crush that transitions into the striking wolf stance.
so here's my thing about this move right here. Perfect example. I didn't mean to do that. Let's say you go into horse stance and you know that one of her choices, now again, it is a guessing game, and I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, especially for newer players. She goes into horse stance. The person using Lydia knows that she can be jabbed out of it. She goes in a horse stance. You don't even try to jab her out. You duck. She goes for the armor move. She misses the armor move. You can launch her from there. Like, it's... So, using Lydia is going to be a high risk, high reward for the Lydia player. Like, if you risk it, you get it right. Easy. You know, like, you can mix up. You can press people. Things like that. Going against Lydia, if you guess right more oftentimes than none, you can beat Lydia pretty easily. But it's the guessing game that's gonna get you messed up. Like, if you guess wrong, you pay dearly. If you guess right, then you gotta. That's pretty much how I'm looking at it.
To the striking wolf stance. It's plus 1 on block, so it allows her to continue her pressure, and
See?
on counter hit, it's plus 16. And finally, striking wolf stance 1 is a chargeable mid that is plus 2 on block and charge, and plus 7 when
It
fully
charges those to the
It's easily sidesteppable and interruptible.
Sidestep.
But if it hits or is blocked, Lydia is left in a very good position. Without a charge, she's still at plus 16 and gets a guaranteed follow-up, and if the full charge hits,
It's a mid?
she gets a damaging full combo.
It is a mid.
Believe it or not, the reason why you haven't blown up as an artist yet isn't because of your lyrics, your voice.
That's by no means an exhaustive look at Lydia's moveset, but these are the moves you'll definitely want to know, both if you're starting out using her, or if you want to get a basic understanding of what she wants to do when you're fighting against her. Now let's take a look at our punishers.
Alright.
Lydia's got a punisher for everything from 10 to 15 frames and even beyond.
Okay, so Political Storm.
Her 10 frame punish is her 1-2-2 string. It does good damage and leaves her in.
You only want to do 1-2-2 as a punish, not as like a regular move. Like a regular use throwing it out there.
Which doesn't force you into stance
1-4
if you'd rather not transition. For 11 frames, she's got 2-2 and 2-4.
2-2 into cat stance?
2-2 transitions into cat stance, but if you'd rather not transition, you can use 2-4.
2-4 is
12 frame
decent.
punish is forward 2-4, which can wall splat.
Forward 2-4.
For 13 frames, she's got back 2-3, which leaves her at +6 on hit.
And it kind of pushes them back.
14 frames, she's got the aforementioned
of course,
storm
the
string that does big damage
Political Storm. I wonder if the Political Storm input is the same.
15 frames, she's got a couple.
This is my favorite move by her.
3-2 is her main star that you see the most
3-2.
damage out of.
Knock down, get the pickup, continue the combo, get the tornado. That's a big combo starter.
4 is her hop kick.
The hop kick is really good.
It will tornado the opponent afterwards, diminishing some of the damage.
The hop kick is really good.
4-2 is her
okay, down 4-2.
which can be followed up by a guaranteed
down forward 4-2.
For her wall rising punishes, she's got wall rising.
Okay, Tomo, she can block out a cat stance if she does it quick enough.
4-2 is her 12 frame, and
so that's safe.
4 is a heat engager. For 13 frames, she's got wall rising 1, which goes into cat
down
stance.
Forward 2.
From crouch, down forward 2 is her 12 frame.
Oh,
and as we
from
covered
crouch.
4 is a heat engager. For 13 frames, she's got wall rising 1-4, which can wall splat.
Okay.
And wall rising 1-2, which puts her into cat stance at +11.
+11.
Frames,
so a lot of her moves
3,
are plus, even if you block them.
Forward 1+2 once again. And for 15 frames, she
got the uppercut.
2 launcher.
Yeah.
Now let's put this all together in some combos. Here are a handful using several different launchers that Alex showed me.
It looks more like the Tekken 7. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, I like that. I feel like all those combos pretty much are doing the same amount of damage, maybe except for this one. Yeah, this one did the most damage.
And before we wrap up,
or maybe I just want to look.
Which gets a free follow-up with forward 1+2 once again. And for 15 frames, she's got the standard wall rising 2 launcher.
I feel like they all did the same amount of damage, but I could be wrong.
All together in some combos. Here are a handful using several different launchers that Alex showed me.
Okay, that did 60. Okay, let's see how much this does. 26 off of 2 hits is crazy. 60. $69. Okay, I was wrong. This does 62. Okay, so it's in the 60s, but it does not do the same amount of damage. I was wrong. 61, and I think this did like almost 80 damage. Excuse me. 74.
And before we wrap up, we need to talk about one last stance of Lydia's.
Heaven and Earth?
Heaven and Earth stance. Heaven and Earth is a unique stance in that she can only enter it while in heat or after a heat engager. And she can enter it while in any other stance by pressing up.
Nice.
As I touched upon briefly earlier, when she enters the stance, she gains a charge, which simply powers up the damage of some of her moves and persists through the entirety of the match.
Okay, so
Heaven and Earth, she
so similar to Eddie, when she does certain moves, in this case, when she does Heaven and Earth, she gains a medal, which amplifies the damage of some of her moves. Eddie, certain moves trigger his boost, which when he goes into the handstand stance, I forget what the name is, the handstand stance, he can do 2 different moves that are very different than the moves he normally does in the handstand stance.
Has 3 main
I hope that
options.
made sense.
Press 2 for a powerful 13 frame mid, that's +6 on block.
Wow.
1 for an 18 frame power crushing mid, that's only -11. and 1+2 for a 16-frame high unblockable attack.
Unblockable,
And
but
finally,
it's a
the last
high.
thing to know about this stance is that it's also a parry stance.
Oh,
If
okay.
attacked during it, she will parry, restore some of her heat time, and re-enter the stance with enough time to follow up.
I have a question. So you know how, so you know how Leroy can parry blocks and kicks in his parry? I wonder, can Heaven and Earth parry blocks
Know about
and
this
kicks?
stance is that it's also a parry stance. If attacked during it, she will parry, restore some of her heat time, and re-enter the stance with enough time to follow up with one of the attacks she can use out of the stance.
Nice.
Lydia is a complex character.
Speaking of
with
Leroy.
one of the largest movesets I've seen in Tekken 8. She has ways to mix you up and continue her suffocating pressure. This guide proves useful for those players who want to learn how to play her, and for those looking for ways to deal with her by understanding her moveset just a little bit better.
She's like
Thanks for watching,
Reina,
and for everything
just
else,
hits
give it
a little
year
harder.
on IGN.
Okay, so I think we pretty much have good information on what Lydia is capable of. I think my personal opinion, she's going to be very, very difficult to deal with in terms of pressure, mix-ups, trying to guess properly. She's going to be a headache for new players. My advice to newer players, either just getting into Tekken 8 or if this is your first Tekken, work on your defense. They gave us the defensive patch for a reason. Work on your defense. Because if you don't learn how to block and parry and things like that, then it's going to be a very bumpy road for you. When Eddie first dropped, a lot of people picked Eddie because they thought it was going to be easy forever. Or they just picked him because they just wanted to try a new character. But a lot of people picked him because he was easy. All you had to do was press 333. And you could basically get whatever you want. Lydia does not seem to be that easy of a character. And every character after Lydia is probably not going to be that simple. Characters that I would like for them to put back in Tekken, Lei Wulong. We gotta get Lei Wulong back in the game, bro. So I recently went back and played Tekken 7. Maybe I'll stream Tekken 7 one of these days. But I went back and played Tekken 7 and I used Lei Wulong, and he is a fun character. I personally could not get the maximum potential out of him, but watching people who can is incredibly entertaining to watch. Plus, if he's not dead, you can bring him back. Like, bring back Lei Wulong. I see people talking about Marduk and Fakaram is coming back. I personally have never encountered those two, but I've seen people fight him, and I see why people are like, oh shit, like they about to bring back some of the demons of Tekken. But yeah, we will see what comes next in the season 2 DLC. If you were one of the people that got like the season pass, then hey, you pretty much will get all of the newer characters for season 1. You will get them for free, but you kind of pay for them. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Again, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.